Hi, hello. Welcome to another episode of Isaiah's Newsstand. It's your host, Isaiah Edwards. The date is March the 20th, 2024. Hopefully, this episode finds you well, in good spirits, and high hopes. As for me, I'm doing pretty good. Let's see, work was pretty easy. It was pretty light. I stayed on it. We were overall busy for the whole day. I will say I had a moment where I got like so annoyed with a coworker, I literally just like walked away, I left the building because it's easier for me to leave the building, because of my position, like where I'm at in the building, not necessarily high or low on the totem pole. But I was just like, dude was like just wasting my time, maxing my time. And he's been doing this for a very, very long time. Like this just random coworker. He's overall a good guy, but like, oh my God. He just literally like sent me over the edge in a way that only he kind of could. And like I was I don't know. I just had to leave. So that happened, but no, truly, I really did have a good day. I'm just now kind of remembering that as I'm talking, and it just made me laugh. And I was just like, yeah, I had to walk away from you, dog. Oh man, it's like if you've seen What We Do in the Shadows, it's like an energy vampire. Only he doesn't have like, I mean, I would think he doesn't have like the negative connotation of like draining my energy. It's just he's living his best life the best way he can, and it is draining to me. And I wish that he was just on like the other side of the warehouse and another floor. But like at the same time, he's a cool guy. Anyway, I know I'm talking a lot here. Anyway, let me see here. What did I eat from last night? I had pasta bolognese with some salad and some bread. So that was yummy. It was pretty good. Also, with the salad, since I didn't have lunch meat, I did an audible and I just did popcorn chicken on it. A little bit. So definitely not, not helping my diet, but whatever. Fuck it. Who cares? What's a diet? But yeah, that's the Joneses for me. You're all caught up. Let me see here. Yeah. So let me go ahead and do my startup, and then we will get into some news. How's that sound? Enough about me, complaining about energy vampires at work. Ooh, ooh, whoa, yeah. Okay. So starting off with news from yesterday, pretty much a little bit of an update happened like right at. Well, I think it happened like hours after the initial news had come out about it. So I didn't really wind up hearing about it until this morning. And I was like, shit, man. God damn it. But I mean, hey, I'm honestly glad this happened. So let's go ahead and chop it up. From the Associated Press, court order puts Texas law allowing police to arrest migrants who cross illegally back on hold. A federal appeals court late Tuesday issued an order that again prevents Texas from arresting migrants suspected of entering the U.S. illegally, hours after the Supreme Court allowed the strict immigration law to take effect. The decision by the Fifth U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals comes weeks after a panel on the same court cleared the way for Texas to enforce the law by putting a pause on a lower judge's injunction. But by a 2-1 order, a panel of the appeals court lifted the pause ahead of arguments before the court on Wednesday. So, I mean, this shit is so topsy-turvy, backwards, forwards. But I don't know if it was simply because, like, hey, they're following the procedure from the Supreme Court, so now it's back in the ball's back on our court, and this is what we're going to do about it. Or if it is the fact that, like, there's external pressures in this situation. I feel like a big one being that, let me just go ahead and read this. But Mexico's government said Tuesday it would not, under any circumstances, accept the return of any migrants to its territory from the state of Texas. Mexico is not required to accept deportations of anyone except Mexican citizens, which I fucking love. That the logic here that I don't know if we've been doing this, I guess, but like, or that this was just the plan that we were rolling out, this crazy ass fucking foobar fakakta plan, was like, oh, like, maybe you're not from Mexico, but like you're Venezuelan or what have you. You're a migrant from some other country. Well, we're just gonna send you to Mexico and let them sort you out. Like, I'm sorry, but the audacity of that is crazy to me. Like, it's just a complete spit in the face. But meanwhile, it's like, hey, anyone who comes off of this border, we're gonna harass you. Like, we're just gonna do it. And even the cops are saying, like, yo, we don't have the kind of training for this shit. Like, we are not prepared to do this kind of thing. And it is akin to what I was talking about the other day of, like, yeah, it is like the show me your papers thing. And motherfuckers think it's just going to stop at the border. Like, no, man. Like, the way it's worded, the Senate Bill 4, it is open-ended in that regard. You just got to hope that the motherfucking law enforcement has discretion. Do you think they fucking will? I goddamn don't. So, even though, you know, it's good that it's paused, we still got to see how things fucking shake out. But obviously this is very relevant, so I didn't want to, you know, wait on that. Figured we'd just start off the day with that set of news. All right, let's move on to Ireland. From NPR, Ireland's Prime Minister Leo Varadkar has resigned. Man, I probably butchered that. Whatever. Fresh from a St. Patrick's Day visit to the United States, which doesn't that seem kind of backwards? I feel like on St. Patrick's Day, shouldn't like Joe Biden make another, you know, shouldn't he be shipping out or some shit? That seems so weird. I don't know, whatever, who cares? Fresh from a St. Patrick's Day visit to the United States, Irish Prime Minister Leo Varadkar says he will step down from that office within weeks as soon as his center-right party chooses a successor. Varadkar announced Wednesday he is resigning immediately as head of the governing Fine Gael party, which is part of a coalition government. That sets in motion a leadership race akin to a primary in the U.S. system. I am resigning as president and leader of Fine Gael effectively today and will resign as Taoiseach as soon as my successor is able to take up that office, Varadkar said in an emotional speech in Dublin, using the Irish word for prime minister's title. So yeah, I mean, apparently they've been kind of down in the polls. You know, what is it? Varadkar is kind of, I would say, a spicy pick, considering he's center-right, right? This is a young 45-year-old, you know, center-right member, but I think something that makes him a little bit more unique and maybe was a draw was the fact that he is not only biracial, he is Irish and Indian. He is also, I imagine white and Indian looking at it, I don't know. But he is also gay. So it's like, whoa, like, that's pretty, you know, ground shaking. But then, I don't know. This is once again from the American perspective, you know, American Ohioan. Hi, nice to meet you. It always like shocks me, like when I'm looking at like a normal conservative in European lenses, because when you boil them down, yeah, they're the same as our conservatives, but like I'm just so used to seeing more radicalized conservatives, like more alt-right type motherfuckers, or people who at least espouse those kind of beliefs to get that kind of constituency. And I'm just like, wow, this guy seems like a normal dude. Like, you know, when I'm listening to motherfuckers out of the UK or, you know, wherever in the, you know, the European zone, it seems like they're overall all right. I mean, don't get me wrong. Once you get into the guts of it, it's like, oh, I hate your politics. I hate your policies. But, you know, I always find that almost refreshing, almost. And I think with Ireland, too, like, I mean, I generally like what they're about. I know he's kind of been standing up to Israel on foreign policy. Varadkar has issued some of the harshest criticism of Israel of any European leader during the ongoing Israel-Hamas war. Irish support for the Palestinians runs high. Like, that's the kind of thing I wish I saw more of the politicians in America. Like, you know, I mean, there are some, but, you know, I feel like they're definitely just drowned out by this overall strong base of just like, no. We're Americans. We stand beside Israel. Point blank, period. And that's like, it doesn't matter if you're a Republican or Democrat in America. Like, you're just like more likely to see that. And I mean, hey, it is what it is. You're gonna pick your side, and especially if you think this is gonna give you the most points politically. But I don't know. I just find it once again refreshing to look at what's going on in Ireland. But personally, no, I don't care about this guy or his party. It's kind of like boo, tomato, tomato. Best of luck out there, I guess. Enjoy your life. But yeah, see you later. Let's see here. I know they end this, or at least where I want to end it. They talk about Sinn Féin. Currently leading those polls is Sinn Féin, a left-wing party which passed ties to the Irish Republican Army, which has never governed Ireland before. So I mean, I'm rooting for them come the election time. Granted, that's not going to be till later this year or early in 2025, depending on how things shake out. So yeah, we'll see. Hopefully we come back and we'll have more positive, interesting things to talk about coming out of Ireland. I would love to see that. So far I'm liking what I'm seeing. I'm liking what I'm learning. You know what I mean? Hell yeah. Okay, let's zigzag back to America. Where actually exactly where I'm from. I've been getting a little local this week, huh? From the Hill. Trump-backed Bernie Moreno wins Ohio GOP Senate primary. So, I mean, obviously, boo this man, boo all the people involved here. But let's see. Trump-backed candidate Bernie Moreno has won the Republican nomination for Senate in Ohio to face off against incumbent Senator Sherrod Brown, who I'm actually I'm okay with him so far. From what I've seen, I'm not doing deep dives on him, but I'm like, okay, he seems like, blue enough, whatever, me, I'm a team sports player when it comes to this shit. I try not to burn my brain out. But let's see, yeah, they're going to be going head to head in November. Moreno, a former car dealership owner and the father-in-law of Representative Max Miller, Republican of Ohio, defeated Senator Matt Dolan and Ohio Secretary of State Frank LaRose in a messy primary that intensified the closing days of the campaign. So, apparently, Moreno and I believe Dolan were kind of pretty head up. They had lost the previous, I think, what is it? Hold on, here we go. Yeah, let me read. Moreno and Dolan, both of whom were unsuccessful candidates for Senate in Ohio 2022, also had a significant fundraising advantage over LaRose, with both of them being able to pour millions of dollars into their campaigns through self-funding. So yeah, I think that wound up playing ahead, and I'm very I'm not going to say it's crazy, but it's always interesting to me that money plays such a huge factor in elections, and it's like, well, duh, Isaiah, but it's I always want to think and go, no, it's the quality of the character of the candidate and all the blah, 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 it's what they're saying or whatever, but truly, it doesn't matter if you're barking mad, it doesn't matter if you're saying the most sane things, it really comes down to, do you have the coffers? Are you backed by the right fucking people? Are you getting the donations from people? Because yeah, people are already voting with their dollar, and if more people are giving you dollars, you're more slated to win. And it's do these ads, because I'll see them sometimes when I'm in my break room and yada yada. I always think to me they kind of wash over me. I'm like, this is a bunch of bullshit. But maybe people really do eat this shit up. Maybe it does make the big changes. I don't fucking know. Maybe that's the influence you really need. But I will say, I kind of just want to smash cut to the fucking funny thing. Let's see here. Yeah, fuck this shit. I don't want to bore you. Essentially, yeah, he's one out or whatever. He's gonna be going up against Sherrod Brown. Yada. Sleepy Old Ohio. But let me see here. Moreno was also dogged by controversy this past week after an account on a sexual encounters website called Adult Friend Finder was found to be linked to Moreno's work email address. The Associated Press reported that the profile was seeking men for one-on-one sex. Moreno's campaign sent a statement following the report from a former intern saying that they created the account in 2008 as an aborted prank. The intern said he was one of many people at Moreno's company who had access to his email account, and his action was not intended to be malicious. Yeah, what a ha ha ha. Like, I guess that's just what a couple of homies do is like, hey man, I totally put your account on like a gay sex thing and we're Republicans. Like, wouldn't that be so funny if people saw that and like, you're like you're running for like election? Or like maybe you're gay, bro. Like, I mean, hey, I'm fine with that. I mean, here at Isaiah's Newsstand, we support them all right? All shapes and sizes. If you got a little bit of George Santos in you or you want some, that's okay, man. That's all right, Mr. Moreno. Hey, salute you, okay? I think you have better chances of that, finding love, than, hopefully getting a seat. But I don't know, man. Maybe that's wishful thinking for me. Like I said, I'm rooting for Sherrod Brown. I would like him to win. That's who I'm going to be voting for. That's also another thing I kind of wanted to say before I move on to the next beat here, last beat, is, okay, so you don't want to vote on the big election. You hate it. You're so done. I hate these two old people. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, okay, fine. I've said this before. I'll say it again. My goal this year is not to try to convince you to vote for, Joe Biden or Donald Trump. I get it. Those are bum fucking picks. If you want to fucking leave a blank slate, you want to Taylor Swift the shit. If you want to fucking write Mickey goddamn Mouse, okay, I can't stop you, dog. Like, whatever, do that. But I really do implore you to get out and vote, to either do an absentee ballot, what the fuck ever, because like there are other things that are gonna be on this shit, and I implore you to at least vote for the area around you, because I think that is where you at least get to see the most effect. And make the most change if you can make it. If there is something to make, you can, really push these motherfuckers. You can really say shit to these motherfuckers and hopefully hold them to the promises they make to you in these election cycles. You know what I mean? So that's my plea for you is to, hey, if you don't want to vote for the big ticket, at least vote for the down shit. You know what I mean? The down ticket shit. Because that's probably more important to you. To me, it's more important to me. Like I said, I'm going to be voting all of the shit. I don't give a fuck. You can call me a coward, sellout, whatever. I mean, this is the prime directive I have for myself. I don't know what do you want me to do. Once again, please come up with some direct action. I beg, I plea. Like, this is a lighthouse for you. Please come on the podcast. Tell the world how we can fix this shit and like really make some like real effective things that don't require decrepit old losers who don't really, have our voice, or support, whatever. Okay, cool. We're done talking politics. I'm fucking done. I'm fucking done with that shit, bro. I want to take my last break. I'm gonna kick my feet up. We're gonna slime out. No, I wish we were sliming out, man. Actually, I want to get nostalgic, but I'll get there. I'll get there in a second. Let me take my break. Then we'll close this out. Okay, so I kind of think that most of my listener base, they're millennials like me, maybe older or whatever. Maybe you're younger. That'd be cool. That's dope. I'm here for the youth. Hell yeah. But I was a big Nick kid. I was really into Nickelodeon. I would definitely say in the hierarchy of things, I grew to be a Cartoon Network kid first, Nickelodeon, then Disney. That was probably my top three. You really can't fucking shit on Cartoon Network when they have Toonami. You know what I mean? And then into Adult Swim, shit, man, that shit mattered to me more than cigarettes. So that's another episode. Anyway, Nickelodeon. I love Nickelodeon. I remember Nick Jr. as a kid. I remember that was kind of one of the earlier ones. It was Disney and Nickelodeon, I feel like I saw first as a kid. But man, I remember going to Kings Island. That's another reference to, the Adventure Express or whatever. Kings Island, that's a amusement park in Ohio. I remember in like I don't know, the auditorium type open auditorium area, they had like a Nickelodeon like time. And like I just remember I got to go to that shit, and like one time I was selected to be one of the kids who got slimed. And I remember this was like my Mayan empire sacrifice. Like I was so excited. I was like, this is it. I'm gonna get slimed. And I got slimed. And I was so happy. I was over the moon. I was thrilled. I loved it. And I remember getting hosed down And it was just so anticlimactic afterwards, like the rush, the thrill of like getting slimed, and then afterwards like the fucking Kings Island worker is hosing me down, and I'm like, it smells like it's like apples. That's so weird. Like, yeah, don't eat it, kid. And I'm just getting hosed down. I say all this to say, man, I really fucking love Nickelodeon. And I think obviously I'm not the fucking only one. I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen or heard about the 4-part docuseries called Quiet on Set, The Dark Side of Kids TV. So that's kind of more or less, that's been like a big focus, and it's put another big old blaring red spotlight on Dan Schneider, who we're going to talk a little bit about in this last story. So yeah, from the BBC, Dan Schneider apologizes for regretful Nickelodeon behavior. And it's pretty fucking bad. Former Nickelodeon producer and writer Dan Schneider has apologized for his embarrassing on-set behavior at the children's channel. A new docuseries released earlier this week alleged years of abuse and inappropriate behavior at shows including iCarly and Drake and Josh. Mr. Schneider left Nickelodeon in 2018 after an investigation found that he was verbally abusive to staff members. He has now said he owes some people a pretty strong apology. Like, motherfucker, I think people think you deserve some jail time. But yeah, I mean, essentially he's like kind of come out to face some of the allegations in a way. He had like this really like awkward interview with, I believe, another like former worker, like he was an actor on one of the Nickelodeon shows. And yeah, like I said, I've only seen like stills of it. I haven't watched the docuseries. I don't know if I'm going to. Like, I remember hearing about some things. I think it was Jenny Killigan. I'm not sure. Or maybe it's Jenna McCarthy or whatever. It was someone who was also on Nickelodeon. She did a memoir, and I think that was mentioned. It was one of those things. So I might be getting the name wrong. Sorry about that. But yeah, so I had heard rumors and whiffs of this stuff, and I was like, oh, that's very unfortunate that part of my childhood was tinged in this shit. But I didn't do any deep diving, but I figured, hey, this is definitely making the rounds on social media, a lot of people talking about it. So I was like, okay, yeah, let's like kind of dip into this ichor, you know what I mean? But yeah, the 4-part docuseries Quiet on Set, The Dark Side of Kids TV includes several allegations of Mr. Schneider making inappropriate and sexual jokes on set. Former Amanda Show writer Jenny Killigan, for example, alleged that Mr. Schneider asked for a massage in exchange for her sketches being put in the show. He would always present it like a joke. He would be laughing while he said it. Killigan said, but it always felt like disagreeing with Dan or standing up for yourself could result in you getting fired. In a new apology video posted on YouTube, Mr. Schneider said that watching the series was very difficult and forced him to face his embarrassing and regrettable behavior. I definitely owe some people a pretty strong apology. Mr. Schneider also specifically apologized for inappropriate jokes he made in the writer's room, saying it was wrong. I apologize to anybody that I ever put in that situation, and even additionally, I apologize to the people who were walking around Video Village or wherever they happened, because there were lots of people there who witnessed it who also may have felt uncomfortable. In the docuseries, actor Drake Bell alleged he was a victim of sexual abuse by former dialogue coach Brian Peck, with whom Mr. Schneider worked closely on All That and The Amanda Show. Peck was sentenced to 16 months in prison in 2004 after pleading no contest to 2 charges of child abuse. Which Mr. Schneider says that that was the darkest part of his career. Cool that you realize that in your pool of reflection. Now, Nickelodeon hasn't really responded to Mr. Schneider's apology. In a previous statement about the docuseries, however, the network said it cannot corroborate or negate allegations of behaviors from productions decades ago, but investigates all formal complaints as a matter of policy. Our highest priorities are the well-being and best interests, not just of our employees, cast, and crew, but of all children, the statement added. So obviously tomatoes to all of Nickelodeon for this. I mean, yes, I'm always going to have, fond memories, but I mean, I definitely think to an extent Nickelodeon kind of knew about this kind of thing, or just, was kind of trying to be as blissfully ignorant as they could for as long as they could. Which is a fucking shame, because that means that, there was children's lives, there was coworkers, careers and well-being that was put in jeopardy and had to suffer, all at the whims of people like fucking Schneider, dude. Like these fat, goopy motherfuckers. And I mean, hey, who am I to fucking fat shame? I know, but like, goddamn, dude. Like, you're looking like a goddamn Harkonnen, bro. Like, look within, work without, do it all, bro. Just, yeah, whatever. That's it. That's all I have. Let's see. If you'd like to help out, support the effort, support the episode, me, whatever, the institution that is podcasting. I do have a Patreon. Patreon.com/Isaiah News. You become a Patreon today, a newsy today. I shout you out at the top of the month. Plug a project if you'd like. Free ways to hit me up, IsaiahNews1@gmail.com. Feel free to follow me or the podcast on any of the socials you're on. Then let's see here. Hopefully you subscribe to the YouTube. Really helps out a lot. You can always, subscribe to whatever platform, you're on. Leave a cool comment. Leave a like. Sharing is always caring. It can be fun. And, like I said, but just as always, thanks so much for just being a cool listener. That really just means the world to me. So yeah, hopefully I see you soon for some more good news. I love ya. Bye-bye. Mwah.